Hello again. This is Hersey with Pipsqueak, and we're recording yet another Grand Prix Rome matchup. Back to back, this time against with Flare Director against FB Benson. Want to take me a second to find their lists on the website.
Yeah. So F Benson or DBatterskull is on Green Black Villainy Hunter's Hideout, which is a deck I played once in a GP.
Wait, sorry, what is
and
FB Benson's name on the website?
DBatterskull.
Oh, right. Okay, you just said that, my bad.
And Flare Director is on Blue White Concord. I think we're seeing one mull from DBatterskull and second mull from Flare. But hey, this is a very good 5 from Flare. Sights Beyond is a very good way of making up for bad mulligans, and Seto-san turns it on basically instantly. So yeah, chucked the chucked the Seto-san on the bottom library. That's incorrect. You should definitely have chucked the Academics Claymore. Okay, but with that said, DBatterskull's on the play and has a turn 2 Prying Inquiry into a turn 3 Villainy, which is generally a very, very good start versus someone who had to mulligan a bunch. Your voice is not currently coming through.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking.
Cool, just double checking.
Oh, sorry, I'm still digging up deck lists. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is... Sights Beyond is such a good card.
Sights Beyond is a very powerful card.
And with combination with the new Concord 1-drop, like, those are both really good 1-drops, so that I think that's why Concord is suddenly, like, a huge meta force.
I think, yeah, getting another Concord set really pushed that deck over the top. And I mean, also, like, it just invited a re-examining. I think the best Concord card that was added in this last update is actually Tamio.
Yeah.
Who you may notice doesn't say Concord anywhere on her, but that card is absurd.
Yeah, and then, like, the Idyllic, Odyssey, and Seto-san, the new Seto-san, are both also really good additions for the deck.
Went ahead and Flare saw it, went ahead and bottomed a Staff Equilibrium, and Captain Event Horizon is deciding to also keep an Idyllic Odyssey. I agree with all of those.
Yeah.
I think you're in a slightly awkward spot where you don't want to crack this Ocean Monastery now. But I think you want to go. Ooh,
you don't really have a turn 2 play anyway. Beyond maybe if you want to get the Claymore down early. So you might be fine just doing
the Odyssey was what I was thinking, actually.
Okay. Oh, right.
So this is going to go ahead, and I assume we're going to see it take Sights Beyond.
Honestly, if I was DBatterskull, I might go for the Claymore.
Just because it's a different type?
Yes. Just on the grounds of, I'm going to keep you off a type and keep Concord off. Admittedly,
I don't think you can do that reliably for long enough.
Usually the only reliable way to do that is to just keep them off creatures.
Yeah, like, you have the removal, and I think Sights Beyond is more likely to find something that you can't actually handle.
Okay, they did in my play, but I think you're right, it should have been Sights Beyond. Since Sights Beyond is a... Like, a lot of the Concord things are, like, upkeep triggers beyond Odyssey. So you usually have time for even the sorcery speed removal to get rid of creatures before they can do Concord stuff. Odyssey is the exception here. So remind me, what was the second card that's put on top? Event Horizon, okay.
Event Horizon, which I don't really want to fetch away. I think we're about to see it get fetched away.
Yep.
Womp. Like, I think it's fine to fetch away if you're in a league game. I think given that you know your opponent is on a win condition of whoops all Villainies and Hunter's Hideouts, and your opponent has a Fluid play, so Event Horizon will be online very, very shortly. I think I kind of just hold it to kill a Villainy.
I would have held as well. Like, I would have rushed this if you had an artifact in play, or one you could play.
Yeah.
To get Conquered on immediately. But if you don't have Conquered on regardless...
Why don't you cast the second Sights Beyond? What's the logic there? Because you don't know the top cards of your library anymore. Holding up the blue mana doesn't help.
Very good point. Can you even... you can't even fake, like, a 1-mana counterspell. You only have Event Horizon main as instance.
Yeah, it's possible. Just Morgan is still getting used to the deck and format, and just blanked, which is entirely reasonable.
Unfortunate mana situation here.
Yeah, this is starting to get ugly. You definitely want to play the Sights Beyond to scry, but
Yeah. Desperately need an artifact here.
So, if Sights Beyond can pull you back into this game, that's astonishing. Like Double Sights Beyond is very good.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's generally true in MSEM is if you pass the turn to a Villainy player and you have an active Villainy, you probably lose.
Yeah, I think this game's over. I don't think there's any way this deck can get enough creatures down that Villainy won't just wipe them within a turn cycle.
Yeah, because we can see like a Dark Bargain, draw a card, kill the token, draw another card, just like machine gun through this board state. Exeunt doesn't hurt. Like, the way you beat Villainy by this point is Seto-san, and either using her to find a Temp Treason or just like churning out tokens to crush them.
Yeah, because otherwise the only way you can get enough creatures down that won't just immediately die is you need to in one turn play 2 creatures that don't instantly die to Villainy triggers, and even then there's enough removal heal that's going to be hard to get done.
Yeah,
that was the thinking before the Exeunt was drawn. Now it's like, yeah, there's 2 1-mana removal spells that will hit whatever you play.
Good luck. Godspeed. You know, I am one of Villaony's most vocal opponents in terms of like, this card's not good. People are putting this in bad decks. Like, it's so easy to beat it. But I can't look at this board state and think of a way that you beat this Villainy except by top deck Event Horizon.
Yeah.
And even then, I think the damage is already done. Like, you're 1 card in hand to their 4, and they have a Clue in play and a Dark Bargain in play, so they're actually effectively at 6 cards.
I don't think Villainy is a bad card. I would say I don't think it's S tier. I think it's like B plus-ish, maybe A minus. But like, that's in terms of like, even if it's that low, if it sticks around, it is an S. I think it is an S tier card if you can actually like, stick it and then follow up. The issue is like getting to that point.
Choosing to recur the Baron Deso here instead of recurring the Monument of Queens, I think is really interesting. It means that you're trying to keep up a removal spell through your opponent's turn, which is understandable. But I think I would value having the backup plan, and I mean that I think makes the difference in terms of Villainy decks.
I don't think keeping removal up on the opponent's turn is needed, because again, you have enough removal that there's no way they're going to get to their upkeep with a creature alive.
Yeah. But I also don't think there's actually a wrong way to play this game at this point.
So it's very hard to lose.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to go full on declare this is can't lose territory, but I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a series of cards that changed the outcome of this game, and I just can't.
I guess one way it wouldn't lose you the game. The only way I can see like even being set back is like if you tap out and then the opponent goes artifact into a Seismic Colossus.
Oh no!
But even
descend on the helpless.
It's like that's setting you back in terms of like, oh, you got hit, but like you're still gonna be able to kill it before anything bad happens.
Crack the Dark Bargain, crack the Clue. You're almost at the game state where you can also have an active Hunter's Hideout. I think if your opponent has an active Hunter's Hideout and you're playing Morgan's deck, you just scoop, because good luck beating the person who can just infinitely spell shape naturalizes.
You're already at the point where like getting a creature is going to be a huge ask for you. Trying to get a creature and then like keep an artifact around is not.
Or an enchantment. Like, oh yeah, by the way, both your Sights Beyonds are gone. Both, your Seismic Colossus exploded.
I'm thinking artifact because at this point it's the easier one to keep Morgan off of.
Yeah, that's true.
Because taking down 3 enchantments is going to be a lot of mana, a lot of cards. Like, it can happen, especially in this game state. But you're going to have a much easier time just killing whatever artifacts come down.
I think actually the other truth is you have much easier time just killing your opponent. Like if you
Yeah.
have an active Hunter's Hideout for multiple turns,
Yeah.
the issue is not the naturalizes.
Yeah, at this point, these 3 enchantments are all dead until you get Concord on. And keeping Morgan off Concord right now, easiest thing in the world.
Drawing the Xanagan does not hurt. Titan-born Sentry is neat.
Can't wait to attack with it.
Yeesh. So, your DBatterskull, do you Pith Wilt this?
I don't think so.
Do you want to happen you kill it with Xanagan?
That's more likely.
So the reason to Pith Wilt it is to maximize efficiency.
I would rather
Do you
hold
think this is a
Pithwill
game
for a
that's going to be?
Shadowsan.
Do you think this is going to be a game decided by efficiency?
No. I think, like, again, it's at the point where it doesn't really matter, but I would hold Pithrit for Shadowsan or Temp Treason.
Yeah.
You can kill this Chidborn with, like, Xanagan plus 2 hitting it, or even just Xanagan and then follow up with Descend Upon the Hopeless.
Actually, no, you don't even need to. Just casting Xanagan causes the Find Happiness and Misery to be triggered. That's 2 villainy triggers. That kills the Titan-born Sentry.
Good point. But you could also just send that 4 at face and then kill it to Descend Upon the Helpless. For a total of like 8 damage face this turn.
I think that's the exact math that's happening on the opponent's side. Okay, so for anyone who is getting into this format after watching this video,
We're so sorry.
I think Morgan's deck is genuinely good. I think this is a rough matchup, and I also think that there was some unfortunate mulliganing that happened.
Exactly. Trust me, the Concord deck is good.
And I also think the Villainy deck had close to an ideal start in terms of turn 2 interaction spell, turn 3 Villainy, got to untap with the Villainy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't ask for better than that. But the other thing I would say is, when you're in these game states, just concede. Because you're going to spend the next 6 turns dying to this Villainy. Realistically, another 2 turns, but like, if you put up a fight, you're just going to die over a longer period of time. And it's going to make you miserable. And you're going to have less fond memories of this format and Villainy as a card.
Yeah.
And just control decks in general. So save yourself. Just move on. Just take that. You can get them in game 2.
You win via creatures. You cannot top deck a win via creatures in this board state.
Yeah.
Especially if you look at the opponent's deck and it's like, you have so much creature removal.
That deck is basically just creature. That deck is like the truth about Villainous Hideout as a deck is your deck is mono removal because all of your win cons are either Monument of Queens, where they're 3-mana enchantments that also are removal engines, or there's Xanagan, who is a removal engine.
And everything else draws cards, so...
So, good luck. Godspeed. Move on. The standard discussion of trying to figure out if I can play this Fungalmire so I can crack my clue, so I can win more.
Yeah, FBet's already paid the land, because they had 5 when they untapped.
Yeah. So, okay, hot take. I think Xanagan Plus is the wrong move here. I think you should draw more spells, because I think you kill people very effectively with spells.
Yeah, I think you're on a 2-turn clock anyway.
I also, again, don't think it matters.
Yeah. I still would have preferred the play where you use Descend Upon the Helpless to kill the creature, and then just throw all the Villainy triggers at face. And leave your opponent...
Founding Hero. There we go. Let's cast this Founding Hero.
That's going to do it. Like,
I think the sad thing is, this is drawing your opponent cards. By playing out a creature, you're giving your opponent more cards.
We're at the point where playing creatures, I think, is strict downside, because one, drawing cards. Secondly, it makes the removal not blank. They can get more Villainy triggers.
Oh my god. That's so true. I hadn't even thought of that. Okay, actually has lethal this turn, right? Because Descend plus Memento Mori plus Find Happiness plus Pithwill, that's 8 damage plus Xanagan is 10. Oh, sorry, I didn't even double count the Find Happiness there.
Yeah.
This is super...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you don't even need to play the Pithwill. You can continue to hold that up as a coward. Oh, got a judge call. Yeah, while Pip's handling this, Xanagan was only given 1 token loyalty counter off the plus as opposed to 2. It was caught a turn cycle late. So FP Pencil being a game rule violation. 3 of those upgrades to a game loss. And the loyalty counter is fixed because it is a easy fix, like it doesn't have any information based on it, and it's a required game state. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a small list of things that we can fix in terms of like those sorts of partial backup type things. That is one of them.
Yeah, if I'm correct, one of the other ones is like
Why
life
would you
link.
be playing the Hunter's Hideout? What is the you have lethal? Just kill them.
They're empty-handed. There's zero counterplay to what you can do to
You're
them
not
right
playing. You're not playing around anything. Just kill them.
now.
Trigger Hideout. Trigger Hideout.
This. Oh, they did say it.
Yeah. No, I know.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying like that. I'm just like,
Oh.
really? That's where we're at? We're at Trigger Hideout stage of the game? Are you sure?
This is how I win. Okay. I don't think this is the way to win the game because Memento Mori, like, Morgan doesn't know this, but the idea of temporary choosing Xanagan and then immediately -7ing is hilarious to me.
That's true.
Not going to help because again, Memento Mori will just make you sack it, but
No, Pith will on the trees and take back the Xanagan. Thank you for ulting my Planeswalker for me.
even better.
Wait, you can't do it in response to like the steal. Like Xanagan's on the opposite. Like Walt's on the. It can be on the stack, I guess, but like.
I think I just want a chance to think and make sure that there wasn't anything that
That's fine.
any interaction.
Reasonable.
3 mana. Oh, Hunter's Hideouting it. Okay. So, Batterskull is ditching Memento Mori to the Hunter's Hideout to destroy temporary treason, hitting Xanagan back in response to the -7.
Sure.
Which doesn't really change anything. Morgan still technically gets the Exalted count emblem. Won't matter unless it's a beneficial trigger. So I don't think it's going to be an issue if Morgan misses it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with ditching the Memento Mori.
It doesn't matter.
Again,
it doesn't matter.
You're right. It very much doesn't matter. But I also very much would have ditched to descend upon the helpless.
Why would you ditch something? Why wouldn't you just cast Pithwilt?
Fair enough.
Get the triggers. You're leaving value on the table.
There's multiple better plays here. I think ditching the Memento Mori is arguably the worst one in terms of value plays. Like obviously the best play was winning last turn. Obviously that's the top play that you could have done here. But
it's like they say, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, or 10 years ago, whatever. I can't remember the thing. The best time to do it is the second best time to do it is today.
Morgan might concede here based on the fact that
yes, Scoop.
that Batterskull has a guaranteed 13 damage on the table.
I'm glad we figured it out.
Got there.
I'm glad we got there.
Okay, let's see what the sideboard stuff is. I'm going to focus on Morgan's Concord because that's the one that I feel needs the help to get caught up in this matchup. Guiding Light almost certainly is going to come in.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of
Imperial Claim, 100%.
Turns out Imperial Claim pretty good here.
Probably still the Pandemoniums. I'm not sure we'd swap out for that. Like it's something that would probably replace Event Horizon, but Event Horizon might still just be better because you can do.
Yeah. No, you should.
Yeah.
Keep Event Horizon.
Yeah, I don't think still the Pandemonium comes in because I don't.
I think it does.
Really? I feel like the outs that you'd swap it for are awkward. I think it's mostly in the board for stack.
Cut Glittering Narwhal. Cut Glittering Narwhal. This is not a Glittering Narwhal matchup. Or a Sire of Empires matchup, for that matter. Like, I think you board out a couple of threats because still the Pandemonium answers every single threat your opponent can play other than Monument of Queens. And you just need to get there in this matchup. Like, Guiding Light is good. Still the Pandemonium is good. Imperial Claim is good. You board out trim a couple of bad threats. You know, I probably would cut Staff of Equilibrium immediately. It's just a bad bone splitter in this matchup. I might even cut Academics Claymore because I think in a matchup where you get a creature, I mean, I guess you can't cut Claymore because you need the artifact count.
Yeah, you need something for Set of Sam to grab.
I'm a little sus on that, but like you definitely have 4 easy outs, and then I probably start looking to trim on citywide automations. Maybe, I mean, it instantly turns on. I don't know. It's hard. The main deck's very tight, and it's proactive, which is good. So like you don't want to overload on it, but you have answers that are just so good versus everything your opponent is doing. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of in favor of bringing the good things.
Part of this is showing why I think the Bant version is just so much better. Because you get so many at the very least, you get so many more options for artifacts, so turning on Concord is way easier. So you can afford to cut more stuff.
I think there's also just like some
And Tameo.
other Tameo's good. I also think that so I helped with Morgan's deck list, and Morgan's deck list was one of the earlier Concord decks I built, so I hadn't refined a lot of things I learned by later. But like, I definitely think if I got the chance to help again, I would put them on multiple copies of the Ostracizer Orb.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of little things you can do. But like, for DBatterskull, like, you just want the Once Abandoned. That's great in this matchup. That's where you want to be. Maybe the Prying Inquiry, but like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you don't have that much you want to cut in this matchup. Your opponent's on a creature-based deck. All of your engines are live. Maybe you cut the Corpse Bed.
Maybe you cut... Actually, you seem to like the Inquiries, but maybe you cut something for a Wrath. It shouldn't be too necessary. If you can get a Villainy down, the tokens that the deck spams won't be an issue.
You're right, but tokens are good against Exian. I think...
Yeah, so, that was my thinking. That there's a few cards in Morgan's deck that make tokens on ETB, which requires multiple removal spells. So Wrath can be decent there.
So when I talked with DBatterskull about ins and outs, and I said, actually, for this, board in the Once Abandons and cut the Corpse Bed and Memento Moris, and 2 Memento Moris. And I think there is an argument for also trimming on some other stuff to get the board wipes in. But I mean, this Pool Light is going to be a turn 2 Idyllic Odyssey, which is neat. Like, you might have a turn 3 Sedasan with a little bit of luck.
Yeah, this also looks like Morgan's having a lot of issues with the mana, which is unfortunate. It's a 2-color deck. Mana should be fairly straightforward.
I mean, it's a 23 land deck where 3 of the lands are Enchanting Palace.
Yeah.
So it's not. There's probably going to be some slight issues, but this is definitely above average in terms of issues, which is deeply unfortunate. I think we're going to see another. I think depending on what we draw, we'll either see a turn 2 Prying Inquiry or a turn 2 Find Happiness. I think. I'd be pretty tempted to turn 2 Wealthy Underbrush just because I want to guarantee my 3rd land for Villainy.
Yeah, that tracks. And also it helps turn on Hideout.
I guess, though, this is a matchup where your opponent has answers. So, like, maybe this is one of the things where when people jam Villainy on turn 3, and then it just immediately gets hit by Event Horizon, and I chastise them for running out the Villainy. So maybe this is actually a game state where you should play patient. Like, Wealthy Underbrush...
In this case, you have 2 of these 3-mana enchantment win conditions. So it can be valid to run one out, get removed, and then run the second one out.
Yeah, that's true. I think it does make sense to, like, do this, hit the land, next turn you can Find Happiness and Exeunt. Or you can get greedy and grab another Villainy.
I think that's a bad choice. I think you really want that land.
But consider greed. Like, double Prying Inquiry here, like, I don't think...
If Morgan got the land there for the Sedasan, this could have been a really good Concord start, but...
Yeah, I think Morgan actually would really struggle to lose this game, if that was the case, if I'm being honest. Given that they missed from here, I think I want to play out... Okay, I think I want to hold up the Event Horizon and say my opponent's probably going to make a threat on my turn, and I can just immediately Event Horizon it and untap and hopefully slam like a Sedasan or Guiding Light or something.
At the same time, I do get Morgan's play here, because if they go for the turn 3 Villainy, they can't follow it up. So you can't untap to deal with it, and this puts more power on the board that doesn't depend on drawing a land.
That's true. Prying Inquiry to clear the way. Easy take on Event Horizon here.
Yeah.
Like, Guiding Light is less good in this matchup than it would be against traditional Villainy decks. Like, Red-Black Villainy really struggles to beat a Guiding Light.
But when you're packing 4 times Pith Wilt.
No, actually, this deck isn't running 4 Pith Wilts.
When you're running Pith Wilts in general, I guess.
When you're running 2 Pith Wilts. And you know why you only have to run 2 Pith Wilts? Because you have those 3 Hunters Hideout right there. You don't need to give shit about Guiding Light if you have Hunters Hideout. It's right there. It's doing its best. God. So for anyone who's listening to this who doesn't know kind of older MSEM lore, both Villainy and Hunter's Hideout are from the same set, Storytime, which is my first set into the format. And when I was making them, Villainy was a card I was designing in this like really, dumb, self-indulgent card that I was pretty sure wasn't good. And Hunter's Hideout was the one I was carefully pushing for constructed. And I was convinced that I had poisoned the well because I was like, oh, God, Hunter's Hideout is so good and it hard counters Villainy. Anyone who's good will look at Hunter's Hideout, say, this is broken, build Hunter's Hideout decks, and then my stupid Villainy decks will never be playable. And that timeline just didn't happen. We live in a world where everyone's like, Villainy, I was like, whoa, Villainy, and just did that. Despite the fact that, like, I do genuinely think if there were Hunter's Hideout decks that saw reasonable amounts of play, you could not play Villainy. It would be illegal. You would lose every single game you had that matchup.
Also, unrelated, that Enchanting Palace draw hurts to see.
Jesus Christ.
Look at all these double white cards in hand. Like,
maybe Enchanting Palace shouldn't be in this deck. Like, I've been kind of optimistic about it, but I'm starting to think that like the fact that it's a colorless land that's only a 5-color land, if you already have an established board state, just makes it not particularly compelling in this list.
I don't get in this list because this list doesn't have the card draw. Like, okay, it has the Sights Beyond card draw, but in general the curve is so low that you don't get much value out of banking treasures, and you're 2 colors, so you don't need the fixing. You only need fixing right now because you're running the fixing card, which is not a great place to be in. Yeah, I'm just seeing how this is going. I really don't like Enchanting Palace in this deck. I don't think it offers much upside at all for the deck. And it's clearly able to cause these bad rolls.
Oops.
That's going to be another... That's a GRV, right? For those who were picking attention to talking, not what was happening. DBatterskull used Whisper's Exploration, which I'll grab here, and used it to recur a land when it explicitly cannot grab lands.
I'm not certain off the top of my head, given that like how it was immediately noticed. I should have given Morgan the chance to notice it before I ventured in. If Morgan calls a judge, I'll let Wendy handle it because I don't feel qualified to handle it in this circumstance.
Okay.
I will be more careful in the future in terms of when I intervene there. I mean, this feels like a really sad Exeon if I'm being honest, but like it's the right play. Like you're not feeling bad about it. You still have 13 life to work with. Your opponent is bricking, just non-stop bricking. But like, you also feel a little stupid.
Once Morgan draws his planes, it's over for you.
I mean, definitely have more of a game when that happens.
Yeah, I think it will be a game, but I think DBatterskull still has a pretty big lead here.
I think a lot of the damage has been done. I'm not going to say too much damage, but a lot of the damage.
To a certain extent, DBatterskull is having trouble with lands here. So that's a valid thing, but...
I think I Exeon here just to try to hit a land.
Oh, yeah.
And also, hey, it takes my opponent one step away from Concord.
Planes, no, okay.
You know...
But hey, it can scry for planes. That's value right there.
That's value. It sure is value. Oh, Icarus.
Okay, so... I don't get DBatterskull not executing here.
I have zero understanding of how. Like, because that token will need an Exeon at some point.
Yeah, like, if you're waiting to see what they play, there's no threat they're going to play that's worse than this token.
Unless you're hoping to Villainy into Exeon?
But you have another Exeon in hand. You have 2 Exeons in hand.
You
can throw one away here.
I have no explanation for that.
Oh look, here it comes.
Oh, also,
Morgan's
stride a Plains to the top of library.
Oh hell yeah, we have a game, maybe.
Oh no. Oh no!
Oh god.
Oh, it's a disaster! Utter disaster!
I forgot that could happen. So DBatterskull
Oh my god, the event horizon delay! And the planes.
Yeah.
On the planes.
Batterskull saw that Morgan scribes up to top and is using Find Happiness to screw over that draw. So Batterskull just big-brained us, clearly.
It will make a lot of sense when I explain that DBatterskull has a lot of time playing Jace the Mind Sculptor. And I think we just saw a Fate Seal happen, basically.
Like, I wonder if that was on Batterskull's mind. Like, I'm
just
gonna take this one. Yeah, I'm gonna take this one damage. Yeah, exactly. Like, if so, that is fantastic.
Like, I mean, I guess you take the one draw out of White Source. I guess you have to keep playing. Oh, geez, that's the most painful type of thing. Oh no. Oh, you know what we're gonna see? We're gonna see a Seto sound being run out.
And then X did, yeah.
X in response to the uptick. To be able to see the future is such a painful power.
Yeah. But hey, you got the second Seto sound next turn.
That's true. There could be just like a parade of threats to run your opponent out of the game, but as we've described, the Villainy deck is untapping with Villainy. The Villainy deck actually has the ability to go untap.
Interesting.
I don't hate this. It turns off the face burn from Villainy.
Yeah.
It turns off the prying inquiries. I think this is a reasonably heads-up play.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter because we're about to see a Hunter's Hideout come down.
It still buys you a turn. It's all good.
There's a live Hunter's Hideout also. Like, there's just immediately going to be 6 power on the board.
Oh god, you're right.
Morgan's on a 2-turn clock. Takes 6, then takes 12 the following turn. Well, 3-turn clock, I guess. 2-turn. Morgan gets 2 draws to figure the situation out.
Good luck.
Can't even steal the Pithwelt? Really? These players are just operating on a whole different set of heuristics than I am.
Yeah, I'm not sure I get this because I think the right play is still to follow up Hunter Riders. Like, that's still such a really good win con to put down. So you're not triggering a Villainy pick anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going Pithwelt into another black spell, it would make more sense because you want to get that extra damage in. But there's none of the black spells in hand I feel are better than Hunter's Hideout.
I'm inclined to agree.
Prying Inquiry is fine, but...
I was going to say, unless you're really, like, I'm not going to risk playing Hunter's Hideout without being able to first clear the way with a Prying Inquiry.
Yeah.
But, like, you have Villainy in play. Like, it doesn't matter. If they answer your Hunter's Hideout, you can Pithwelt the thing on your next turn and burn them out.
Yeah.
If they don't answer the Hunter's Hideout, they're dead.
And either way, whatever they answer, you have a Xanagan as another win con again. You have 3 win cons that are really hard to deal with between in hand and in play. So I feel like your best option right now when your opponent has no board state is just keep rushing out win cons.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that's one of the things that I think the Villainous Hideout deck does better than any other version of Villainy is just slam threats one after the other that your opponent goes, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, I'm dead. Like, one of the things that is historically, like, an issue with Villainy decks is the ones that go kind of all in on Villainy, and then your opponent, especially post-board, is just like, cool, I have 4 Naturalizes, you have 4 Villainies, let's fucking do this. And this deck is like, nah, I'm gonna have, like, 7 to 8 threats you need to answer.
So I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to comment here, but Batterskull doesn't actually... Yeah, but Batterskull doesn't get how Pithwelt
very much not. I will mention that later.
Yeah, so Batterskull's on the impression that since Pithwelt is a high... Like, Batterskull gets that Pithwelt counts itself.
Yes.
But Batterskull thinks that because it's a hybrid, it counts whatever you spend on the stack, so it'll only end up be 2 colors on its own as opposed to 3 colors on its own.
So I think it's less of just, like, misreading how hybrid works and more of just it entered the format at the same time as LVS, and I think that confused a lot of people because of how augmented works with hybrid. Is very different from how Pithwelt works with hybrid.
Mm-hmm. But again, not our place to comment on that inside the game.
Yeah, that is a good thing to comment on after the game. It is a bad thing to comment on during the game. One thing I am not looking forward to for a bunch more commentary for GPR is spectators recording all the instances where they commit various different violations of, like, hey, you're really not allowed to say that in a game.
Oh, yeah.
Please. Because that's happened in some past videos. I can't remember. Did we give a lead in to why this GP is special or exciting, or did that just not happen?
Not this video, no.
Okay.
So the reason this one's exciting is we have 44 players. Our record by like what, 9?
Yeah. As I mentioned in another match earlier this round, this is like 2/3 of the size of some of the local 1Ks I used to go to. So it's kind of absurd, especially for an entirely custom format with no prize money.
The prize is getting to grind your friend's face into the dirt.
It's so true. So true. Oh, jeez.
There you go. There's the play you wanted. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, yeah. The token resolves.
Yeah. Because you don't need to keep the thing around for the ability to resolve. Which I learned embarrassingly late into my Magic career. Like, several years in.
Yeah.
Because we thought that Zippies or Pingers, like Prodigal Sorcerer, if you killed it in response, it didn't deal damage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So we had.
Oh man, that must have made some really tense standoffs with a bunch of pingers.
Yeah. No, that's exactly like there was a game where me and my brother and my dad were doing a 3-way game, and all of us had at least one pinger on the board. All of them had 1 toughness, and it was like the ultimate is a standstill. But
I think there's actually a movie based on that by Clint Eastwood.
Oh, the good, the
really
bad, and the weird. The good, the bad, and the weird.
Yeah, exactly. I'm quite sure Clint Eastwood wrote that one.
Nah, he wrote the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the weird. The superior movie is Mongolian, if I remember correctly. It's either Mongolian or it's Korean and it takes place in Mongolia. Either way, really good movie.
So, do you think we're going to see Pithwheel plus Hunter's Hideout next turn, or are we going to see the Xanagan next turn?
I think Hunter's Hideout is the right play. I want to see Xanagan because, it's my card.
Yeah, I understand this.
And we aren't we all just a little bit gay for Xanagan,
God, big if true.
Hey, you can give the Beast Exalted,
Oh, man.
That's value. Swing with 1 Beast. Hell yeah.
In general, it's slightly unfortunate. Just this matchup, I think this matchup can be fairly interesting if Morgan draws lands that produce colored mana.
Yeah.
But I think in general, there is a decisive favor to the green-black Villainy deck just because this deck just devours creature decks whole.
Yep.
And the addition of Hunter's Hideout means you also devour decks that rely on value, artifacts, and enchantments whole. And unfortunately, both of those things accurately describe Concord, so it doesn't really have a over-the-top mechanism.
Yeah, and unlike the Bant Concord decks, it doesn't get like free huge refills.
Yeah, it's not going to draw. It's not going to draw itself out of that game state.
And again, the Bant ones just have a much easier time enabling Concord, even if lands work for this white-blue deck. Because they have some opportunistic elves to give an artifact, to get an artifact right away, stuff like that. They get to do the Warded Tome untap shit.
Well, only if you're Egg. I think most people don't get to, because most people have some amount of restraint in them.
I gotta get banned for giving outside assistance for how to get rid of arrows.
I think the real question is, did we misrepresent game state when I said converted mana cost instead of mana value when discussing how Pithwheel works?
But that's not for another couple months.
Okay.
So on that note, you have to give an automatic F to every survivor contestant that uses mana value right now.
It's true.
So there's another question: how long until Morgan surrenders?
No, that's the worst draw in this deck. You know why that's the worst draw in this deck?
Gives you hope.
It means you think you have a chance. Oh no.
I cannot wait to see DBatterskull's turn of untap. Here's my Villainy, here's my Hunter's Hideout.
Pass.
Yeah,
So do you Event Horizon the Xanagan or the Villainy here?
That's a good question. I think it's a devil's choice. There's no either one left around is going to lose the game.
I definitely think passing the turn is wrong, though. Like, I think if you want to answer one of them, you answer it on your turn.
Yeah. I guess I would hit Xanagan because it's going to be harder to hit later, but... Oh, I guess on the other hand, though, if you
Villainy triggers Villainy.
I guess on the other hand, if your only hope is that your opponent is like hugely bricking, I guess you remove Villainy so you can swing it against Xanagan. But
that makes sense. Xanagan control more cards.
Yeah, I think your only hope here is that your opponent is like has like 4 lands in hand.
Which, hey,
Can
we've seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Gotta believe, Hersey. You just gotta believe.
But us, with our unlimited knowledge, know that this game's over.
I both regret and not regret asking for us to be able to see hands. Because I think this match would have been more entertaining and also way more frustrating if we could see hands.
Like, if we couldn't see hands, we'd have to guess at the fact that Morgan had a hand of all double density white cards.
Yeah. We would have spent a lot of this game yelling, "What's in Morgan's hand?"
What are you waiting for? Crying shame that Concord has never once been online. Not even like across the turn cycle. Like, not even like it hasn't even been temporarily online. At no point have all 4 permanent types been in play.
I'm pretty sure if all the burn went face, there would be lethal. I'm not certain, but I'm like 80% sure. Why are you passing? Oh my god. In some level, we also are begging to be put out of our misery.
Like, is this lethal? It's not lethal in hand, but god is it close.
This is also why playing control decks is so addicting, and why so many people are frustrated to play against control decks, is because of just how long you get to do this to someone. How long you get to just like sit there crushing their throat, being like, I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning,
Yeah.
I'm winning. And on the other side, how long you sit there like dying. And it just, like, the human brain's really good at remembering that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, once you stabilize, you can make these mistakes because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, none of the decisions that are being made here matter. Like, I'm not saying this game was decided turn 4, but I'm pretty sure most of the decisions that have been made since turn 4 did not matter.
Yeah, I think a lot of this
are we going to see a burnout?
Like, I think there was a chance to come back earlier, but
5, 6.
I think it was 80% decided as soon as that Enchanted Palace was drawn, the second one.
Yeah.
As soon as we're going to sit there for a few turns without getting to cast any spells, I think the game was like already 80+% over by that point.
Remember your Exalted Emblem. Remember your To be fair, you only needed the one.
Like, please, you gotta remember the uninteractable part of Xanagan.
Yeah, that's true. God. Clearly the issue here is the emblems.
Those are what won the game here.
Uninteractive card design. Nonsense bullshit.
Another brutal 2-0 to watch.
Yep. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the other one. I'm not sure what order you guys are going to watch these in. But we're from the future.
Well, we haven't said what the other matchup was. So...
That's true.
If I upload some filler episode, they have no idea.
Yes, filler episodes. In our MSEM.
I do a league run, and just to submit all those. Oh, wow. Thanks again for commenting with me. I guess in this case it's me commenting with you on this one recording, but...
Yeah. I mean, it's going on your YouTube channel, presumably.
Hell yeah. Do you have one?
No, I upload everything to Caillou.
This might go up soon. It might go up after a while if I decide to try and make a display for it. We'll see.
I should link people to the Hersey Corsi YouTube in general chat, where they can see the Place of Fretport trailer.
That wasn't a good trailer.
Also,
okay. I tried, but the sound design was not there. People see the channel when I upload it to MSEM Media. They can make fun of my old league videos there. I stopped the recording while talking about this part.